What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Monday market update here at UMortgage. I am thankful that you have made it to be with us on this lovely Monday morning. It's a beautiful fall morning here in Atlanta, which is where I am. My name is Sean Grapevine, director of Agent Direct. I think I just said Grapevine. That's not my name. It's Grapevine. It's Mondays. Am I right? Director of Agent Direct. Coming at you live, like I said, from here in the Agent Direct studios. I am joined by the one, the only, the leader of the Epic Mortgage team. As you can see in the background behind him, he charts his way through the choppy, tumultuous seas of volatility. He's got a broadcast studio that rivals my own. Give us an effect. Throw something at us. Give us a press a button.
Oh, you want to do like a foreground effect?
Yeah,
No.
give us a foreground effect. You can give us gossip curveball.
We'll hit like a little foreground effect. We got.
Oh my god, that's epic!
Yeah, it is epic. There's all sorts of amazing, wonderful, like pop a splash page up.
Wow,
put a banner up. All sorts of goodies that can go.
Legend. Wow. Not only does he look like he knows what he's doing, he really does know what he's doing. And the broadcast studio is a perfect place for him because he started his professional career as a photographer for seniors in high school, but has now offered only to snap Jerome Powell's portrait the day he finally departs from his Fed residency as a fond farewell whenever that does come to pass. Please welcome Andrew Cady. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you. Happy Monday, everybody. I don't know about y'all, but I woke up pumped, ready to. Well, I didn't wake up pumped. I finished the gym and did a cold plunge, and then I was pumped and ready to tackle the week.
What did you hit at the gym?
Today was shoulders and arms. So it was a 45-minute, no break, solid grind workout, and I'll be back tomorrow, like 7 days a week. There's no quit. Let's go.
Love to hear it. Your shoulders are looking fantastic. So
let's go.
It's working. Well, Andrew, we've got you on in place of the esteemed Austin Koenig, and love having your viewpoint on things, especially as a practicing loan officer still and branch manager. Let's talk a little bit about last week going into this week, some of the news, and then how we as loan officers can sort of digest, interpret, and plan some action items around this news. Last week, not a huge week, although we got some great movement in rates for a little while.
We did,
as usual, had some great lock days Monday and Tuesday, and the market decided to punish anybody who waited to lock by jacking up the prices. Once again, I guess we'd had sort of an early Black Friday, and that was canceled as of Wednesday, and then capped the week after markets closed with Moody's not downgrading the United States credit rating. It kept us at the AAA level, but then they changed our credit outlook to negative, citing fiscal trajectory among congressional dysfunction. We're like a family that argues at dinner, but with all the windows open. So
that is literally the best description of what's going on. Like it's just dysfunctional right now. Congressional dysfunction.
Yeah, I mean, it's like guys, we got the recipe here for a great family dinner. We've got the United States is strong. It's made up of strong people, hardworking people. The infrastructure's all there. Everybody's got a job. Everybody's wages are going up, and it's like the adults can't stop getting drunk and arguing at the dinner table, and it makes us look dumb to the rest of the
neighborhood. It does. We've got the perfect recipe, but there's this one, there's the one sous chef in the kitchen named Jerome Powell that just keeps pouring salt in the soup, thinking it's not salty enough, and we have the recipe. People just aren't following it. But nonetheless, we digress. Yeah, the markets didn't open very happy this morning, but obviously we're going to have a very, very, very volatile week. We have a ton of news this week, but the Moody's changing us to a negative outlook has caused a ton of volatility this morning. We were down 39 basis points on the 6.5% coupon as of 30 minutes ago. Now we're only down 22. it's going to be a week of volatility because the news today is dead, but starting tomorrow, it's power packed all week.
Yeah, today is definitely the calm before the storm. Tomorrow we've got CPI, core CPI, all of that, and that pretty much takes up the whole day. Before we talk about
Correct.
the rest of the week, I mean, you know, what are your thoughts on this? I've been tracking this. I mean, obviously you have too, but I've been talking about it every week, and so I mean, I remember trying to not spin, but like just trying to put some lipstick on the pig of 8.2% inflation a year ago. Austin and I just sort of watching the numbers go up eye-wateringly high, and the median forecast for CPI for the previous 12 months year over year when it comes out tomorrow is 3.3%. I mean, it's not 2%, but there's not very many numbers between 2 and 3.3%. Now, core is expected to still be at 4.1. Again, not where we want, but not very far away. What are your thoughts as what's your perspective on this?
My thoughts, my perspective on it is, if we just zoom out and look, yeah, like we've made huge progress on inflation. Like the progress is being made. It's all coming down to the Fed's fear of the future. And I think there's a catalyst that is driving the Fed that a lot of people aren't talking about, and that is that there's over $900 billion with a B of stimulus that is still yet to be injected into the economy between the 401k reform, the pension reform, and the build back better plan, whatever that one is.
I guess
There's still nearly $1 trillion of stimulus that will be injected between quarter 4 and quarter 1. And so I do think the Fed is weighing a little bit on that. I mean, Jerome Powell came out and spoke again, I believe it was on Friday, and basically said does he does think that further action still might be necessary. And as painful as that is for him to say, I don't necessarily disagree with him. If we see $1 trillion of stimulus hit in the next 90, 120 days, we could see inflation once again start to rise on us because that's a very inflationary move. And so for the current moment, I think the Fed is done enough and they're good to pause. I think we're in for a long ride on this is my gut. I think the higher for longer is a reality unless things really start to break. And that's the fine line that the Fed has to dance is when does this break? Because when it breaks, they're going to have to switch gears very quickly and start cutting.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I think we all assumed we would have been at the breaking or starting to break point, and it's just like everything. It's like they just keep pouring fuel on the fire, and it's not lit yet. I mean, that's not to discount the like the sort of economic pains that a lot of ordinary Americans are going through, but it's certainly not like a proper right. Unemployment's still in the threes, so
It,
it's
it,
hard.
it is, but there's definitely cracks showing in the armor. I don't know if you follow. There's a news outlet called the Kobisi.
You know?
It's a Kobisi letter. And I follow them on Twitter. They put out some really, really awesome, amazing stats all the time. And one of the stats that was a true crack in the armor that I saw is that subprime auto loans now are at the highest delinquency rate in history. Period. Like the number of auto loans that are seriously delinquent, 60 days or greater, is now at 6%, which is the highest it's ever been. In 2008, pre the crash, we were at 5.4%. In the 90s, when we had stock market collapse, we were in the low 5%. We've now tapped 6% on serious auto delinquencies, and I do think that is coming into play now because of the student loan payments. The
Sure,
average American household has $1,500 a month of student, like that's average.
that's
$1,500 a
crazy.
month of student loan payments. And those all started hitting the table in October. And so I do think there's cracks showing in the armor. And yes, unemployment remains strong, but are those actual numbers? Is the Fed actually looking at unemployment for what it should be? I think society has changed so substantially that employment numbers aren't going to be what they used to be. And we have Uber, we have
Sure.
DoorDash
Mhm.
drivers, we have all these things that people do as second and third jobs, which are job creations, but full-time employment is falling fast. But it doesn't mean that there's not job creations. People have options that they didn't have anymore. So I don't know if the Fed's outlook on unemployment rate is really even a valid outlook, because full-time employment is dropping. The number of hours worked on average for a full-time employee is dropping. But job creations are happening super fast because there's a lot of little part-time jobs and gigs
Sure.
that people pick
Yeah.
up.
Mhm.
And so I don't know if unemployment rate is going to break. I think we might see economic break before we see unemployment break.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, we'll find out more about that as the week goes on. Well, first we'll hear from the manufacturers and the producer price index on Wednesday. So we get to hear how much goods cost for consumers on Tuesday, how much they cost for producers on Wednesday, and a little later. Oh no, at the same time at 8:30 we get consumer U.S. retail sales. So we're
Well,
getting how much things cost, how much of it we're buying, and how much it costs to produce those goods all in 24 hours. I'm excited. This is I love news weeks like this.
yeah, and then Thursday we hit the Philadelphia Fed does their manufacturing survey. We get the import price index on Thursday. We get initial jobless claims, continuing jobless claims, and then Friday we get housing starts and building permits. So like power packed news week, for me, if I'm walking into this week with files, I have a hair finger on a lock trigger, because here's the deal, guys. We can always renegotiate locks if rates begin to drop, but the probability of some of this data being massively market moving in one way or another is extremely high. And so I've got a hair trigger this week on locking loans. I personally don't want to risk it unless my client is the one directing me to
Sure.
float the
And it's got
loan.
to be like their idea. Like I mean, I got to the point in weeks like this where I was like, I just auto lock unless the person brought it up. I didn't even give the option. I mean,
Yeah, I
just like
agree. Weeks
yeah,
like this are lock a loan week. For our team, the way we like to do it is if a client wants to float a loan, we want to send them an email in writing confirming their intent to float. Because the last thing you want is a client coming back in 2 weeks when rates are higher and saying, "Why didn't you lock me in?" And
mhm,
then leaving you a 1-star review. At least you have in writing saying, "Hey, here's a confirmation of your intent to float the loan. Let me know if you have questions. We'll keep in touch about the market, blah, blah, blah." But
mhm. Yeah.
put it
Also,
in
yeah. Let
writing
me
to them.
know. Let me know where you got your crystal ball, because if it's right, that's fantastic. I mean, I don't think people really recognize that things always get worse faster than they get better, especially in this market. I mean, the headwinds against bettering rates are so absolutely set against us. I mean, like, doesn't matter what CPI says, doesn't matter what PPI says, doesn't matter what retail sales says. All that matters is what the Fed says, and the Fed has been, to their credit, very, very consistent on their messaging. Higher
They
for
have.
longer. We might keep raising. Like they're not talking about cutting. I mean, it's not even in there. So, yeah. I mean, I thought it was funny last week when and if this was you, I don't mean to call you out, but like not you, but one of the watchers, like uh as soon as the 10-year dipped 40 bips, everybody was like asking about cash out refi, pricing. They were worried about EPOs. I was like, man, I think we got a ways to go before like that is the people ask about like rate term refi price. I was like, I don't think we're in any danger of that being like a major part of your week anytime soon. And somebody was like, what about EPOs? I was like, it's not gonna happen. You don't have to worry about
Yeah,
it.
not in this market. And here's the reality: EPOs are going to become a problem. Like at some point, rates are going to break. Fed's going to break something. Too much salt in the soup. Eventually, it's going to taste too bad, and crap's going to break. And EPOs are going to be a thing, which is why you better be staying on top of your database. Like right now, be touching base with your clients, updating them. Hey, anyone you've closed with an interest rate over 6%, I would be on the phone with them in the next 10 days. Talk to them about, hey, we're monitoring the markets for you. The moment we see a refi opportunity, we're going to be in touch. You're going to get inundated with all of these people trying to call you. The reality is I'm going to be able to put the best deal on the table for you, because if you're going to get an EPO, you may as well originate the loan
Do it to
yourself.
yourself. Right.
And then at least you get paid for one loan out of two, rather than being paid for zero loans on doing a loan. Stay in touch with your clients. Get out in front of this thing. And while you're on the phone with them, talk to them about opt-out pre-screen, and then get off the
Immediate.
phone
Yeah.
and send them the links to register. Because the moment in this market, guys, if you don't have your clients on opt-out pre-screen, the moment you run credit for your refi is the moment you lose the client, because there are going to be shops out there doing them at 40 basis points. They're going to clean up. And
Oh,
so
yeah. I mean, you're gonna have a big enough problem competing with the current servicer. So, like,
correct.
may as well narrow the playing field.
Yeah. And like right now is your opportunity to prepare. Like we are being told right now there is a category 5 hurricane coming. We don't know exactly when, but it's coming. So either prepare for it or don't, but don't complain if you don't. If you want to sit back and play Xbox today rather than picking the phone up and calling 40 past clients and having a conversation, don't bitch and moan when you lose a bunch of your refinances because right now's the time to prep. Go get your bottled
Right.
water, go get your gas cans, fill them up, be prepared, have your clients prepared, let them know that you're the guy and be ready for it because it will come, and when it comes it's going to come fast.
I 100% agree, and right now there's no excuse. Like it was difficult during the super crazy times of 2020, 2021 to like to do the past client management while there was an inbound influx of just like my phone wouldn't stop ringing.
Agreed.
Don't really know anybody who that's a problem for right now. I don't really talk to loan officers that are like, gotta hire a second LOA. I can't keep up with that. Gotta hire a VA. Man, it's so right. Like, with the exception of like Ian Twaddle and Ben Bell, that somehow are juicing their numbers every month. It's like nobody's so busy that you can't call somebody. And you know what? While you're prepping them for for that refi, for the rate term refi that might come 6 months down the road, if they bought a year ago, who knows? Maybe they had another kid. Maybe they want to. Maybe they got a promotion. Maybe they're moving. Like maybe it's time for them to buy a house again. So there's nothing can go wrong when you call your past client database, and it's definitely a huge opportunity to uh, cement the relationship and earn that credibility and authority. So Andrew, it's 10:19. It's already flown by. What's your like when you have your conversations with your agents this week, which I know you do all the time, right? You've got your Facebook group, and this is one of the places you've really made your mark as a loan officer. What's the message? Constant updates about small things as these things come out. Are you going to kind of put it all together in a little package on Thursday or Friday and send out the information? Are you going to have conversations around this? What's the call to action for a loan officer here?
So for me, I'm gonna do a video as soon as I get off this. I'm doing a video for my Facebook group with close to 800 real estate agents in it now, and basically tell them that this is a power packed news week. We're going to have a ton of data. Some of it will be market moving, some of it will not. I'm going to walk through the data points we're going to receive this week, and then I will tell them, hey, if anything becomes a major market moving item, I'll go live and we'll talk about it and give some recommendations on what your clients need to prepare for. If they're all somewhat middle of the road, expect a end of week update breaking down the week in review. And so I'll kind of watch this thing. If we have a big market moving thing, I'll just go live in it and review it and go over it. Like right now is a great time to be an educator, to be an advisor. People are scared. Real estate agents are having a tough time. And if you can be seen as the advisor, as someone that is helping them understand this crazy market, you're going to earn respect. And by respect, you earn business.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Whether you know it or not, or however much of an expert you consider yourself right now, you are more of an expert than anybody in your circle, right? Like if you're a loan officer, you're more of an expert than the real estate agents and the clients. And if you're not, people are still going to look at you like you are. So you better brush up, know what's going on, and be able to talk about this because that is part of the value we bring. It's one of the reasons we get paid because we bring market knowledge. So, Andrew, it's great having you on as always. I've liked this recent uptick in your appearances, and hopefully have you back on sometime in December, and see what's happened in the prior month. So, have a great rest of your week, Andrew. Thanks for being on here.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks to all you guys in TV land, and we'll see you next Monday.
See ya.